When I first got into doing plastic model kits, the thought of customizing them was intimidating, to say the least. I looked at all the paints and parts and processes that I would need to do, and I was scared. But I got started, kind of forced my way through, and I put together some stuff that I'm pretty proud of. What I'm hoping to do in this series or single video, I don't know how I'm doing this just yet, is trying to demystify the process of customizing. And the main way I can do that is to just show you what I do. We're going to start with this guy right here, the Leo. As you saw in an earlier video, I've customized one of these before, and I have an idea for two others. This one is going to be one of those Leo sisters, and I am going to walk you through how I did it. So, strap in, and let's check this out. Hello everyone, welcome to Shelf Space. I'm your host, Rodhams13, and today, like you saw in the intro, we're going to be going over customizing. So, we're going to be customizing this little dude, the Oz 06 MS Leo. It's a fairly standard, cheap, really posable kit, and I think that makes it a perfect test bed of sorts for doing any sort of customization. So, step number one for doing a custom is, well, outside of having something to customize, is to have a plan. It doesn't need to be super solid, at least at the start, but you want to have a general idea of what you want to do. I know that kind of goes without saying, but trust me, you don't want to just try to wing something like this. You want to think about it. So, what I am doing, set this guy aside, is I am making the sister units to this guy. This is what I call the Leo Fire Dance. It is a mid-range flamethrower assault mobile suit. I did a custom paint job on it with some decals and a little bit of Kitbashing to make the backpack and customize the weapon. So, the idea for this kind of came about from my good friend Shoki over at Shoki Reviews when he said that he was going to give me the Buster rifle that was an extra on his Build Divers Ultron kit. And from there, I came up with the idea that, okay, so we got a mid-range mobile suit. With the Buster rifle, we would have a long-range mobile suit. So we need something that is close range. And so that's when the idea started to form. So what we're going to do with this guy, since I don't have the Buster rifle just yet, is we're going to turn him into a short-range, melee-based mobile suit. So you're probably wondering, how are we going to do that? He's got beam sabers, but that doesn't seem like enough if we're doing something that's dedicated to close-range fighting. And the answer to that is kitbashing. What we're going to do is we're going to look through some different parts, like you see here, and figure out what we can cobble together to customize this guy into what we want. Now, I will admit, I've cheated a little bit on this, and I have a pretty good idea of what parts I want to use ahead of time, but that was because I didn't want to make you guys sit through me going, maybe this part, maybe this part, maybe this part. But we're going to go through the motions anyway to get you guys a general feel of what it's like. So, let's get this dude out of the way. Set him behind me. So, when it comes to kit bashing, there are several different ways you can go about this. You can get things like this. These are basically build parts, little collections of weapons and other accessories that can come in handy. I think if you have been paying attention and know what I am doing, you can probably already see what I'm going to pull from this box. Hint, it's the big sword thing. And over here I have quite a few of these that I've picked up either through various blind box things or actually just outright ordering them. Another thing you can do is go into your old kits and find parts that weren't used. If you've built any of the Build Fighter, Build Diver kits, you'll note that a lot of times you're going to have a whole bunch of extra parts that aren't used for anything. That's where a lot of the stuff on this guy came from. This shield was an extra one that came with the Striker GNX. The backpack is made up of parts that were left over from Bear Guy kits. So, let's start looking through the stuff and find out what we can get. Okay, to start off, let's bring our soon-to-be custom dude back. I'm gonna move something aside. There we go. Okay, so to start off, we got this right here. The Build Custom 24th Century Weapons. Now, technically, all of these are from, or at least designed to go with 00 kits. But the thing with customizing is you should try to keep an open mind about stuff. Try to think outside the box. Just because it says it's for one generation doesn't mean you have to use it for that generation. So what we're going to be using here is this Buster Sword. And I don't think we're going to do much to it other than we are going to go ahead and paint this, but that is for a later time. And what's nice, he holds it beautifully. I mean, look at that. That is pretty darn cool. Oh yeah. That's the stuff. But we could just give him the sword and leave, but no. There's a lot more we can do for this. So let's set that aside because I don't think there were any other parts I wanted to use for this kit in there. So if you remember on the Fire Dance, she had a custom shield. So let's see if we can find some parts for that. Now, if I remember correctly, oh yeah, here we are. If I can get it out. That is an extra GNX shield. So I think we're going to try using this thing. And then, let's see, we got some parts in here. Ooh, that looks neat. What if we could make some sort of grappling hook thing? Because we said that this guy right here is supposed to be a close range fighter. So what does he do if something is out of range? What if he could fire off a grappling hook, grab the suit, and pull it back in close to him? Think kind of like a Scorpion in Mortal Kombat. Yeah, I think we're going to do something with that. Okay. Got some other parts that... Ooh, hello. That could be cool. Because we don't want to do just a straight up GNX shield, I think. Because that's something that looks very iconic to the mobile suit, and I think it might stand out a little bit too much if we just did a straight up thing on that. So we got these things. They're supposed to be heads of an axe. You can see them right there if the glare doesn't get in the way. But what if we were to do something like this? That is a cool idea. Now, something that can be pretty indispensable for when you're doing customizing and you're trying to mock things up: sticky tack. This is that sort of gummy stuff that you can use to put posters up on a wall. What we can do is pull off some little pieces of it. Get things close to in position as we can. Do I have it? Oh, I have it on the wrong side. There we go. Because what this can do is it can get it into place. So it's not like a super strong connection or anything, but it's enough that we can sort of mock this up, see what it's going to look like, get a good idea. Riveting sticky tack action, I know. Probably using a little bit too much on this, but the show must go on. There we go. That's pretty darn cool looking. Almost looks like it could fly on its own or something. So, what we're going to do is something similar to what I did on the fire dance. We're going to first carefully pop that off, because I like the idea of still being able to use this connector point. But we can't, I don't think just slamming that on top of there would look very good. So what I'm going to do is we're going to carefully get this popped off. Let's see. Oh, here's something. There we go. And so now we have the little inner frame of sorts of the shield. And now what we can do is try to remember what side is going to be up. Attach it like that. And that, I think, looks pretty cool. What do y'all think? Ignoring the sticky tack, everything seems to fit together fairly nicely. And we can use some model glue to connect this together. And I don't think there'll be much of a problem. For this thing, it'd be cool if we could actually do a wire. And what we can probably do is use some of these twisty ties that I have a gajillion of from Transformers from back in the day. And I may have to do some work on it, but I think if I utilize this part here, which is the connector for it, I can trim that off and drill a little hole into it. And if I drill a little hole into here, I can have a wire that goes like this. And I'd probably use a small wire as well for holding this in place if I wanted to have it in a non-deployed mode. We'll see how well that works when we get there. For now, let's, at the very least, see what it looks like if we were to have it in a non-deployed form. So, got a little sticky tack. Pop that under there. Actually, let's remember that there is going to be... we're probably going to have part of this here, so we want to take that into account when we're looking at it. And here we are. Oh yeah. Almost looks like a little spaceship. Whoosh. I suppose if I wanted to get really fancy, I could try to find like some thruster bells or something like that and make it something similar to the shield that the Death Scythe had. Anyway, let's see what this guy looks like all connected together. Oh yeah. Oh my goodness, look at that. That's mean looking. He's gonna mess you up. Okay. Next up, we need another way for this guy to close the distance between him and the enemy. So, he's got some thrusters on him, but what if he had a more dedicated thruster backpack? We got a port there, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be able to connect with it right out of the box. So we'll just have to see what we have. But if I remember correctly, you go over here. Oh, right. Look. We got a backpack in this set. So let's see. There it is. So we got this thing. Not too bad. It's got 2 ports on it instead of 1, but we can work with that. We can either drill some holes in there or just snap these off and glue it directly to the back of the mobile suit. So let's see, how do we want this to go? I think we could do something like that. Now the only thing is he doesn't really have... it doesn't look like he necessarily has extra thrusters, but we can fix that. Right here is some thruster bells off of a HG Wing 0. I actually have some other plans for that thing and don't really need the thruster bells on it. So what we can probably do is just reuse these. Because he kind of has thrusters right there, but because this is something for an IBO kit, it doesn't completely match. And while I said don't stress about that too much, you don't want to make things look too out of place. So if you have the ability to modify it to make it match a little bit more, go for it. So what we can probably do is either attach that there or... what if we can maybe do that? I think that might be our best bet. I'll need to do some sanding, I think, on the inside there to make that fit, or do some sanding here. But for now, sticky tack. I'm moving all the lights. Okay. Everything's trying to fly away from me. Don't you want to become a backpack? So, pop that on. Pop that on there. And there we go. We got some nasty gaps there, and what we'll probably do is use some what's called plow plate or just styrene sheets to cut off little squares and glue those in place. I think that'll be something for another video. For now, let's do this and this, and there we go. That sits a little far back, but I think once we snap off those pegs, we'll be in business. And there we are. I think we just mocked up a custom. I think that's it for now. Join us next time when we take a look at the process of gluing all this stuff together so we can get it ready for painting. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, all that fine YouTube manipulation, and I'll see you guys the next time you invade my shelf space.